let's spend a few more seconds on the wide receivers because these are fascinating numbers right here. Yeah, let Hyde rant. I'll rant. Oh man. So we got, I mean, obviously the schedule changed. People didn't like when I mentioned the first 4 game was scrimmages. I called them scrimmages because this is a damn good Notre Dame football team. It's a good team that has a legit shot at going to the playoffs. You got the first 4 games, get ready for the mighty Buckeyes come to town. So since Ohio State to Clemson, Notre Dame, is this a Hartman thing or a wide receiver thing? And I'm saying 91 targets to the wide receivers in the last 6 games, Mike. 49% have been caught, 45 out of 91. So you got a wide receiver unit that's catching, let's just say 50%. 50% of the times the ball's thrown to them. That doesn't mean it's hitting them in the chest. That doesn't mean, it's right on the spot, Hartman's money and things of that nature. It's not. So is it just a group that just doesn't, I don't want to say get along. It's like work together. And that goes back to these injuries. You got to remember, after Ohio State, as they got rolling, they before who'd they play next? Duke, right? It was Duke. So remember, they didn't have Thomas and Greathouse. So going into that Duke game, Thomas and Greathouse were 1-2 in catches. Yeah. They were the top 2 receivers after their first 5 games.
Hasn't been the same since.
Hasn't been the same since. Those were his guys. Those were his guys that he trusted, he hit. And then all of a sudden, Rico's thrown in the first series. Rico doesn't even react to the ball. Hartman throws a pick, and it's just boom. The crap show begins in the Louisville game. So since Ohio State, you got 50% of the targets to these guys are being caught. And that is obviously a combination of trust, of, feel for one another, constant guys mixing in. For crying out loud, we got a lacrosse player out there. It's like, as good as an athlete he is, he's a lacrosse player. It's hell of a high school football film if guys haven't watched him. And then you do have Hartman that is inaccurate. There was passes against Clemson. He's got Greathouse, and it's like, he throws it over his head on this one. And then this one's a bad out route. And the one ball, 2 to Tobias just blow me away. He had that, it was late in the 4th quarter, the one out route. If you go back and watch the TV copy, there's Clemson guys on the sideline, and they get big eyes. They're like, that guy didn't catch that pass. And I'm going micro slow-mo on my YouTube TV here, trying to be like, is that ball thrown out of bounds? It's right on the money, and Tobias just doesn't even catch it. Then the fade, if people remember, God, is that the second to last play of the game? Maybe it is in the last series. I got it written down. I forget. The fade that goes to Tobias, almost 40 yards in the air. Not that that's the game winner now. How the hell do you make no effort to make that catch? I don't understand. It's
kind of weird.
That was like, dude, I went back and watched that thing 18 times, and I'm like, are we missing something on that play? Because
that's what I thought. It's almost like, is it the angle? Is it like the angle that's kind of fooling your eye?
Even the DB was like, holy moly, thank God. And guys are on this, once again, Clemson sideline with big eyes like, ooh, we caught a break there. So, and those are just 2 plays and 1,000 others in that game that were a complete mess. It was just, that was a mess, but it's also the Louisville game. Duke, Notre Dame played their butts off against Duke, and then it hit a tailspin once Duke started getting some momentum, obviously, and then Hartman takes them almost 100 yards to win it. So it's just, that stat once again, when you're going that 49% targets caught, is it the wide receivers? Is it Hartman? It's obviously a combination of both of these units. Young guys that have never played the position, for crying out loud. And I think for Notre Dame fans, that's what sucks when you watch Hartman, and Hartman could throw balls blindfolded up to his guys, do 50-50 balls to all these wide receivers at Wake, and they would just go up and go make plays. And we don't see hey, I'm going to just toss you up a 25-yard lob pass to get it. And that's what's frustrating.
There's so much of this where you talk about one figure of like, all right, so we're going to talk about the passing offense and why it stinks. Because the running backs, we're putting zero blame on them on the offense. They're great. The running back room is
except for the pass protection.
Okay. Except for the running back pass protection.
What the hell was that?
In terms of running the ball, They're
No,
great. Offensive line,
it's
you
all
know,
it's all together. There's a handful of plays, especially when they show the end zone copy, from Hartman's butt, and you see Hartman looking at multiple guys, and then no one's open, and then Coogan just gets bull rushed. Zeke gets tossed 15 yards back. The Payne is the go-to third down back, right? He is this year's, Dave Meggett, the old great football player in the NFL. Your old typical Lionel James for the Chargers was the third down back. He's the Notre Dame third down specialist, and he comes in and whiffs on 2 sacks like atrocious. So it's a group of everybody. So let's just throw it all together.
That's kind of my point here. Like if you look at the lack of success for Hartman, you can look at the other 2 people for why he is struggling at times. The receivers aren't getting open. The play calling is not, highlighting his strengths as much. He doesn't have the downfield threat. And that's not to excuse some of the dumb things he's doing, right? Because then you look at the receivers and they're, we don't think that the play calling is helping them out necessarily. And then, the quarterback isn't helping them out, when throwing pick sixes.
Pick six was
and then
horrible.
also the receivers, we can kind of give them a pass in terms of how banged up the group is. And then you look at Parker, and it's like, well, I can do anything calling plays or formation wise, but if my receivers can't get open and my quarterback's throwing pick sixes, what the hell else am I supposed to do? So it really goes back to, if you're just going to single in on one person, one unit, I mean, there's so much more context to this. It's like a car, if your alternator breaks down and everything else in your car is great, cool, try driving on the freeway with no alternator, or your alternator not working. It's not really going to run well. So there's just a lot. It's just a perfect bad storm for Notre Dame offensively. There's nothing.
And there's 2 plays instantly that come with Tyree. When they go quads, they go the 4, and they have the blocks out there, and Hartman throws it behind him. It's like, dude, I lose my mind at, where I coach and a guy can't throw it. It's basically a bubble. It's a line pass right down the line. He throws it behind Tyree. The Clemson guy as fast as could be because they're crazy speed out there, and he gets nothing. And then there's another one where a crosser, if you guys remember, Tyree is open on a deep crosser, which I'm saying was one of Hartman's strengths at Wake, which it was, throwing those deep bend routes. And he throws it behind Tyree. And it's like, so there's multiple times where, Hartman even said it in his press conference, he just came out and he just said he sucked. He was horrible. Yeah, you were 13 for 30 against freshman DBs. For crying out loud. So yeah, he was off. Guys weren't getting open. On the pick, he turned and throws it the stay so quick. If you watch it, all he has to do is read the damn corner. The corner squats. The safety is trying to get over the top to Tyree. He sits. Tyree probably has a walk-in touchdown. If he just goes 1-2 and throws it deep, it's an empty, for crying out loud. So there's a blitz coming. Lob it up for one-on-one football. We don't get any of that stuff this, especially in the last 6 games. It's easy to throw lob balls against Central Michigan and Navy, which they did, and stuff like that. It's been frustrating, and here they are sitting at 9-3.
Well, not yet, which is
7-3.